Good morning, Year 6. Just to remind you that this week we are writing a setting description all about your chosen lighthouse scene. So, yesterday you edited your writing and you have chosen this week either a stormy lighthouse scene or a peaceful, serene lighthouse scene. So, this week we have magpied. You have also learnt a skill. On Wednesday, we had a look at the skill of figurative language, so using similes and metaphors and personification, but in really effective ways. So we don't want to use figurative language that we might see all of the time, that's a little bit stereotypical, as quick as a flash. Instead, we want to use things like the wind wailed, so personifying the wind. Yesterday you edited, as I have said, so hopefully you have got a really good up-leveled setting description, and remember we are aiming for about 2 pages of A4 writing for your setting description. Make sure you know which scene you chose, so if you chose the stormy scene, make sure you are still writing about that today from your edit. If you chose the peaceful, serene scene, make sure you're still writing about that. Today we are publishing, so you should have sections about the lighthouse, the rocks that it sits on, the sea, the weather, and the general atmosphere. So here is where you really need to build your atmosphere. Remember, these things will be very different depending on which lighthouse scene you chose to describe. So, for example, the sea may be a calm mill pond, which means a calm section of water, if you are doing the serene scene. However, it might be thrashing if you are describing the stormy scene. So thrashing is one of our onomatopoeic words because it sounds like the word you are describing, thrash. So that sh sound, we would hear the waves making as well. The weather would also be very different. We might have beaming sun on the calm, serene scene. However, in the weather in your stormy scene, we might have clouds billowing, dark looming over. So really building that atmosphere. Make sure in your edit, go through now and check that you have described each of these 5 features. You must be describing all of these 5, if not, you are really missing something out. The rocks here would be standing sturdy if you are describing the peaceful scene. However, the rocks might be quite violent and maybe foreshadowing that something bad could happen in terms of jagged rocks we could have. They might be jutting out, so we're making the imagery that they are dangerous. However, in the peaceful scene, they are just standing sturdy. They're not dangerous, they aren't a threat to any sailors, they are just there, sturdy and strong. So today you are going to publish your setting description about your chosen lighthouse. Just a reminder, you need to make sure you are including as many Year 6 standards as you can for vocabulary, grammar and punctuation. This week we had a look at using figurative language, so you can definitely include some of your standards here in your figurative language. Try and use your Year 6 spellings as well. Remember not to force your words in, but if you are using any of our Year 6 spelling patterns, then you need to check you are spelling them right. In your SPAG lessons, we have been going over last week I spellings. We also had a look at the Year 5 spelling pattern of ibble and abble, just to remind you. And you also need to make sure that you are spelling things like homophones correctly or confusing words, so advice or advise. Make sure you are using a dictionary. You can use an online one or a physical dictionary in order to get this skill here and really improve your spelling. If you are aiming for greater depth, you should be using most, if not all, of your Year 6 standards, and in addition, some of the greater depth standards, as many as you can. So just to remind you, you could vary tense within a piece of writing. You could use subjunctive form, however think about whether subjunctive form would be suitable here. Subjunctive form is very formal writing, so I don't think that would be suitable or applicable in your writing about the lighthouse in your setting description. However, one thing which would be is complex adverbial openers and definitely choosing the appropriate vocabulary, so ambitious vocabulary. Remember to send your work to your teacher via email. We are really excited to read your writing, and any amazing pieces will go onto Class Dojo.